Good morning from Jakarta, Indonesia. 22nd June 2016. That's today. That's one day left before the EU referendum begins tomorrow on 23rd June. And let me begin my final campaign for the EU referendum today, this morning, by stating that Vote Leave campaigners has done their project fail. Failed project by Vote Leave campaigners. Why? Because they don't get any attention after the killing of Joe Cox MP. Even Labour has a betrayal. Even Labour Party has a big betrayal. That's in the Vote Leave camp. But the Tories has won enlightenment because previously the Lady Varsi previously joined the Brexit camp, but now joined the Britain Stronger in Europe camp. That's a good enlightenment, and God already shows her a great enlightenment for her life as a British. The most recent project failed by Vote Leave campaigners is Nissan, Japanese car maker, files a lawsuit for misuse of its logo by Vote Leave campaigners. That's an epic fail, man. That's an epic fail because Vote Leave campaigners use a registered logo, a copyrighted logo from a big Japanese car maker. Remember, Nissan is a big Japanese car maker, although it's the second biggest car maker in Japan after Toyota, which in this EU referendum, Toyota endorsed the UK to remain with the European Union in tomorrow's referendum, on 23rd June's referendum, So does Nissan, and other Japanese car makers invested in the UK. Also project failed by Vote Leave camps are project hate by Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson's family, Boris Johnson's ancestors is mixed, just like his relative, the current Prime Minister David Cameron, who leads Britain Stronger in Europe camp. Otherwise, the Right Honourable Gentleman Boris Johnson didn't realize his ancestors by launch Project Hate and failed because Boris Johnson stated that the UK should celebrate its migration, multiculturalism, heterogeneity. But sadly, Boris Johnson didn't implement that because of his concentration of Vote Leave camp, and he's already being toxinized by Nigel Farage and friends. So that's why Boris Johnson is in Vote Leave camp, while he is an avid fan of multiculturalism. He is an avid fan of immigration, and he rejects Donald Trump's ban for Muslims entering the United States of America, and even he condemns it. Just like his successor as the Mayor of London, the Right Honourable Sadiq Khan, in which Boris Johnson confronts with on BBC's Great Debate on EU referendum. two Tories and a Labour in Vote Leave on the BBC on Vote Leave camp appeared on the BBC's Great Debate on EU Referendum, while Labour, one Tory and one minority party, the TUC, on the Britain Stronger in Europe camp attacked most Vote Leave campaigners in an epic way. Sadiq Khan launched an offensive campaign to Boris Johnson by showing the Turkish map, in red. The European member states are not named, but only named Middle Eastern countries like Syria. That's an epic fail, and that's a shame, because it's a Project Hate conducted by Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, and friends. And let me tell both camps, Britain Stronger in Europe and Vote Leave camps, if Turkey joins the European Union, the British people should not worry. Instead, the British people and the British government should welcome the Turkish people, the Turkish government, and the Turkish membership in the EU. The EU should accept Turkey as the 39th member of the European Union without any more conditions, without any more regulations. Let Turkey join the European Union, and let Ukraine join the European Union to avoid more political interference from the authoritarian and, eccentric Vladimir Putin from Russia. Boris Johnson, in his final words on the BBC's Great Debate on EU Referendum, stated that take back control. And on Friday, 24th June, it will be the UK's Independence Day. Independence from what? Take back control from where? From who? Independence from who? Huh? The UK isn't even colonialized, though. Yes, the UK was colonialized by France, by the imperial France. But it's a few centuries ago, during the Napoleon Bonaparte era. It was a few centuries ago. But the UK hasn't been colonialized at all. Instead, the UK colonialized all over the world. Almost all over the world being colonialized by the UK in the past. So independence from who? The UK will be independence from who? From what? From what? That doesn't make sense at all. And take back control. Again, I stated, take back control from what? Take back control from who? Britain controls the world. Not even EU controls of Britain. So does Chongwanai, Kremlin, and the White House. So does Vatican. Although there's a conspiracy theory that both accepts the lease of British land to the Vatican in 1273. The agreement could only be removed by the monarch of the UK and the Holy Pope. That's not true. That's not true. Vatican doesn't control Britain. Vatican isn't control Britain. So does Chongwanai, Kremlin, and the White House. They don't control Britain, but Britain controls them. Britain controls Vatican, Britain controls Moscow, Britain controls Beijing, and Britain controls Washington, D.C., and Britain controls Brussels. Britain controls New York City. And Britain controls Brussels, Luxembourg, and the European Union. All states in the world mostly controlled by Britain, including the nation where I live right now, Indonesia, is controlled by Britain. Great powers controlled by Britain. The USA, France, Germany, Russia, China, and Japan controlled by Britain. And that's the fact. And I'm not lying. That's a fact. That's true. And I'm not lying to you. So, take back. The UK should take back control. Take back control. Take back control. Control from what? Take back control from what? UK controls the world. Great powers controlled by the UK. Vladimir Putin, the president of the USA, the president of the People's Republic of China, and even Communist Party of China is controlled by the UK. The Communist Party of China and the Workers' Party of North Korea controlled by the UK. So almost all states controlled by the UK. And that's the fact. Even if Britain leaves, it will lose much control from any other territories, from any states that presently controls by the UK. That is not realized by Nigel Farage, Boris Johnson, Nicola Stewart, and many elite Brexit politicians. That needs to be terrified with that. And again, I say it. Most Brexit politicians are just power-seeking politicians, image-seeking politicians. That doesn't need by Britain. Sorry. That doesn't need by British people, because they will create big troubles, a big chaos, and a big problems for the UK in the future. I don't want that thing to happen for my beloved nation, the UK. Britain stronger in Europe would mean Britain stronger in the world. Britain greater in Europe means Britain greater in the world, because, again I say that, British Empire was the largest empire in the world in the past. These days, Britain controls so many states, about 3/4 of states are controlled by Britain. Not only those in the Commonwealth of Nations, but those in outside of Commonwealth of Nations, for example, like great powers, controlled by Britain. Controlled by Britain. Controlled by Britain and controlled by Britain. So that's why tomorrow, 23rd June 2016, my fellow Britons, vote Remain. Vote Remain. Vote Remain for the UK to stay in the European Union, because Britain stronger in Europe, Britain greater in Europe, and Britain much safer in Europe, and Britain will be more peaceful in Europe, and Britain will be more greater in the world. Without leaving the European Union, Britain will be much greater, and the greatest Britain ever had in world history. 23rd June 2016, vote Remain for the UK to stay in the European Union. Do not listen, and do not even allow yourself to be toxinized by vote leave camps where just spread toxic, and so many toxics, hatred toxic, and then betrayal toxic, stupid toxic, and most lying propagandas launched by vote leave camps. Don't believe in them, because they just want their image to be rising. They're good for Britain. They're good for Prime Minister. They're good for Westminster. They're able to rule Britain. No. I assure you that Brexit vote leave camps, Brexit vote leave politicians, are eligible to become Prime Minister of the UK. Not even eligible. So that's why I would recommend former 4-star military general from the British Armed Forces, an independent and a technocrat, to rule Britain, not only to defy, but to unite the dividing pro-EU and anti-EU Britons. Just like what happened in Thailand. A military general unite the fighting sides in Thailand, red shirts and yellow shirts, are now unite each other. Not, not divide. The current Prime Minister of Thailand, who is a former military general, unite both dividing sides. Black shirts and yellow shirts are now unite each other. So pro-EU and anti-EU Britons need to unite after the EU referendum. No matter what happens, but I hope Britain will remain in the European Union on 23rd June. On the 24th June, the results announced that Britain is staying at the EU. Let British military general rule Westminster until at least 2020 to unite the dividing pro-EU and anti-EU Britons, and once again, I tell you, do not listen to the toxic Brexit politicians. They just want their image to be rising. No, do not allow that thing to happen. 30th June 2016. Vote Remain for the UK to stay in the European Union, because Britain stronger in Europe means Britain stronger in the world. Great Britain is a greater Britain with Europe and a greater Britain in the world. Vote Remain 23rd June 2016, because Britain stronger in Europe, and say yes to the EU. Thank you guys.